Good morning, children. How are you? In the previous classes, we have discussed about one of the important chapter in science, that is components of food, right? So, what are the components of food? Okay, why do we need food? Okay, what is food? These are the questions that comes to your mind. So, what is food? Food is the important substance which gives us energy for doing many activities, right? What does food contain? Food contain many nutrients. Nutrients means essential substances needed for our body, right? So, what are nutrients? Carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, minerals. These are the important nutrients in our food, right? So today I would like to explain how can we check our food contain starch. What is starch? Starch is a carbohydrate and proteins and fats. Okay, what is today's class? Today's class is test for starch. Starch is a carbohydrate. Protein is a bodybuilding food, right? Fats. Fats and carbohydrates, they are energy giving food. Already you know that food is classified into three categories based on the function. One is energy giving food, body building food, protective food. Today what I am going to do? I am going to test the starch, proteins and fats. Let us understand test for starch. Before going to conduct any experiment, children, we have to follow three steps. One is procedure. Second one is observation. Third one is inference. When you come for higher classes, when you are conducting many experiments, children, you have to follow three steps. What is that? Procedure, once again, observation, inference. Right. So, what is procedure? What is the aim of the experiment? What is the aim, children? So, aim is to test for starch. So what we are going to have the food, or we can check our food contains starch. What are the materials required for this experiment? First, we have to prepare a iodine solution. What is that one, children? It is a chemical. Iodine solution. I think you have studied and you have seen 4th standard iodine solution, right? What is iodine solution? Understand. It is a chemical, I told you. It is an indicator. What is that one? It is an indicator. What is indicator? I tell you later. So, iodine solution is an indicator for starch. So, indicator is the substance which helps to identify the properties of the substance, whether what is the color change or taste change or smell. So, like that, it is a substance which helps to identify the properties of the particular compound, right? So in the similar way, iodine solution is an indicator for starch. So when we are adding iodine solution, what will happen? The food item, the carbohydrate food item, that means the food item contains starch, which turns blue black color in the presence of iodine. Okay, so first what we have to do in order to check the starch in the food? So first we have to prepare the iodine solution. How can we? What is iodine? Iodine is an indicator where we are using to test the starch. Clear? So very important point. What are the food items contain starch, madam? First you have to understand. So what are the food items? Can you name some food items which contain starch? Tell me. See, you know, rice, bread, potato. Clear? These are the food items contain starch. How can we check the starch? Let us consider. So, in order to check that starch, what we have to do? Take a sample of food item. Without that, we can't do that. What is the procedure, children, we are doing? Observe carefully this. Take a sample of food item or rice in the test tube. Why they have taken rice? Because rice is a carbohydrate. Rice is a carbohydrate. So what they have to do? First already you prepare the iodine solution. How can we prepare the iodine solution? Means take 150 ml of water. Add iodine. Then we are getting a blue black color, children. That is iodine solution. Take a sample of food item rice in the test tube. Clear? And next one, add a few drops of iodine. So observe carefully. This is the procedure, children. I told you once again. I told you what I have told you just. So in order to conduct any experiment, we have to follow three methods. One is procedure. Now what I am saying, this is procedure step. Take a sample of food item in the test tube and add a few drops of iodine solution. Next step is observation. We have to observe. Okay, clear. This is the rice, no? What they are adding, ma? Iodine. Clear. The rice turns into blue black color. Before, what was the color of the rice? White. When we are adding iodine solution, what is your observation? You have to observe the color change. What is the color change? It changes into rice, turn into blue black color. This is your observation. Then what is your conclusion? So rice turns into blue black color. Then what is your conclusion? That is, so the rice contains starch, children. Clear? Once again, how can we check the starch in the food, children? First, we have to take iodine solution, right? How to prepare the iodine solution, you know very well. The food items contain starch. We have to take the food sample, adding iodine to it. Then it changes blue-black color. It indicates starch. Clear? Next, we can move on to the test for starch here in a given food materials. What see, these are the procedure, observation all. You can see, take a sample of food item in the test tube, add few drops of iodine solution to it. If the substance turn blue black color, definitely the substance contains starch. I hope clear, children. Next, what is the homework? Name the food item or list out the food items which contain starch. Next, we can move on to the, so one more example they have given. What is that? What are the sources of carbohydrate? I told you potato. Test for starch in potato. See, observe. First, they cut the, what is that? Potato, adding iodine solution. So what is that one? See the color first before it changes into blue black color. Then the starch contain, the starch is in sorry, the potato contains starch. Next we can move on to the test for protein in a given material. You know that proteins are the body building foods. They helps to give more energy for growth and metabolic activities. Clear? What are proteins, ma'am? Proteins are the nitrogenous compounds, children. For your level, just you understand, proteins are the body building foods. Okay, proteins are the body building foods. What are the sources of proteins, ma'am? Where do we get proteins? Proteins rich sources are sprouted grains. You know, no ಮೊಳಕೆ ಕಾಳು ಕಟ್ಟಿರೋ ತಿಂತಿರಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳ, ಸ್ಪ್ರೌಟ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಪಲ್ಸಸ್ ಕಾಳುಗಳು, ಮಿಲ್ಕ್, egg. These are the major source of proteins, right? Then in order to test protein, we require materials. No, what are the materials? What are the food items we require? We require egg or milk. Okay, pulses. Then how can we test for proteins in a given material? So now tell me, what are the steps we are going to follow? We are going to follow three steps procedure, right? So what is the aim of the experiment? So test for proteins in a given material. Now observe carefully this slide. What are the materials required to conduct or required to test the proteins? First, children, observe carefully. Test tube. Clear? These are the materials required for that. And sodium hydroxide solution. These are the chemicals, children. What is that? Once again, sodium hydroxide solution, NaOH, or else you can say that caustic soda. Okay, they have to prepare the solution, children. What is solution? You know, no? Solute plus solvent is equal to solution. Clear? Which is the solute? Which is the solvent? Always water is the solvent. The chemical sodium hydroxide, it is in the form of pellet. I am taking into the test tube. I am adding water. Then we are getting, what is that one? Sodium hydroxide solution. Clear? What about this one? Blue color, observe 2% copper sulfate solution. 2% copper sulfate solution. That means, so the solute, which is that one, copper sulfate solute, they are adding water, they are getting a solution. Solution is nothing but a, so the mixture of solute plus solvent. Next to droppers. Okay, this is spatula and water. Very very important. First thing is this one, food material. So what are the food materials ma? You can take pulses. Okay. Now, these are the materials required to test the proteins. I hope understand children. The what is the agenda children? See, the aim of the experiment is to test for proteins in a given materials or food materials. So, what are the materials required for this experiment? First thing is you have to focus on food materials. That food contain proteins. What about this? Water. These are test tube stand, dropper. These two are chemicals children. Remember, one is sodium hydroxide solution. If anybody asks what is the formula of sodium hydroxide, you have to say NaOH. What about copper sulfate CuSO4? These chemicals are added into the water in order to get a solution. Clear? This is dropper. These are the materials required for protein test. I hope understand. Now how they are conducting protein test. So what are those? Red gram. Red gram means ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಬೋಂಡ ಬಜ್ಜಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಏನದು? ಕಡಲೆ ಹಿಟ್ಟು. So in order to test the proteins, what they have taken ma? Red gram flour. Okay, ಅಥವಾ ಇದು ತೊಗರಿ ಬೇಳೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಏನಿದು, ವೈ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟೇಕನ್? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ pulses, these are all pulses, you know, no, cereals, pulses, right? Pulses are rich in protein, so that this food material, they have taken to test the proteins. Clear? Next one is, see how they are doing. What do we call this step ma? Procedure. What are they doing? Take a little gram flour into the test tube. ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? Take a little gram flour into the test tube with the help of spatula, where they are adding to the test tube. Observe this. Next one here. Add a little water to the flour and shake well. What they are adding children? Now they are adding water. Ma'am, why they are adding water? To make the food item soft and paste. So that they are adding water to the flour. Right children? Next one is very important, two chemicals. I told you what are the materials required in that. One is copper sulfate solution children. Another one is, what is the formula of copper sulfate? Once again, CuSO4. Clear children? And what about caustic soda or sodium hydroxide? NaOH. Clear? Add 2 drops. What they have taken in this ma? They have taken powdered gram powder, pasted, or they are adding water. What they are adding? Add 2 drops of copper sulfate solution. I hope understand. Observe, what is that one? Addition to that, one more caustic soda or sodium hydroxide solution to it. If it turns, next what we have to do? This is procedure over. What we have to do next step? Observation. It turns purple color. What is that children? It turns purple color. Oh, then what is that inference or conclusion? Yes, suppose when we are adding copper sulfate or copper sulfate and sodium hydroxide solution to the gram flour, what do we get? That food item changes into purple color. Then it shows that the given food material, what we have taken, that food material contain 100% proteins. Any doubt? What we are adding in order to check the starch ma? Iodine chemical, right? It is an indicator. What about this ma? Sodium hydroxide and copper sulfate. See, they are adding in order to check the proteins. I hope understand. So what are the tests? Starch and proteins. Remaining energy giving one more food, that is fats. This already you know very well. Clear? Observe this color change. Color changes to violet or purple. Then the gram flour contain proteins. These are the conclusions. So while conducting any experiment children, when you go for higher classes, this is the beginning class children, often and often I am using three methods you have to use. One is children, aim of the experiment. what are the materials required for the experiment. Another one is procedure. These are the steps: procedure, observation, conclusions. Clear? So now you know what are the procedure we have done for starch and proteins. Okay, and so observation, conclusion. Now we can move on to the, so one example, test for proteins or milk. Observe here, I won't say. Clear? Next, test for starch. So, what is the test for starch? You are carefully observe, children. Test for starch in a given food material. See, very important. What is this? Butter or cheese or ghee, whatever it may be. This is the paper, sheet of paper, right? See, if you put a drop of oil on a paper, then it become, what will happen? Transparent. Then it become semi-transparent, that is called it as translucent. Suppose take a food sample on a filter paper, fold it, okay, so what will have crushed the food, then we can see the stain on the paper. Can you see the stain on the paper, children? Suppose if the food item contain water, what will happen? The water started to get evaporate, left behind the, what is that, stain. Then by this simple experiment we can say that the food items contain starch. Clear? So by three, these are the three important, so test for food items, like to check the nutrients in the food. One is carbohydrate, another one is proteins, another one is fat, children. I hope understand. Clear? Clear, children? See, thank you, children.